Battle of BC5 was this past weekend, and oh my god, this tournament was insane from start to finish. Maybe from like round 2 pools to finish. I don't know if any big upsets happened in round 1 pools, but goddamn was this tournament crazy. From determining probably who the #1 player in the world is for this first 6 months of 2023, all the way down to an unexpected top 8, crazy losers run, dominant winners bracket runs from people we expect to have dominant winners bracket runs, and a couple of really surprising matches. I'm going to be talking about all of my interesting picks for Battle of BC5. Of course, I will be going over individual runs and analysis later this week. Do not worry, I promise it is coming, but I wanted to talk about more so an overview and people that I'm proud of versus people I'm surprised that didn't do as well, so let's get into it. In general, if you want to check out clips from this tournament, you can probably check out Fresh Cut. I'm assuming most of the players that were here are on Fresh Cut, and of course you can check out the hottest clips. You should right now down below. There's a link there for me too. So first off, I wanted to highlight probably one of my favorite sets of this weekend, which unfortunately did not go the way of DeBuzz. I know I just made a video about him, applauding him for his run at Kageribi number 10, and him versus Akola was a hot set. It was crazy from start to finish. Literally all 5 games were really good in my opinion. Akola did end up taking it, but damn, DeBuzz was so close, like the entire time. It was insane. You also had an amazing Siski run. Siski beat Jazo 3-1, Riddles 3-1, even though he's been struggling with Kazi recently, and that is who I assume Riddles went this whole set, and then 3-2 over Yoshidora, one of the most exciting people that came to this tournament, the first NA tournament for Yoshidora, and Siski said, no problem. He ended up getting 9th, unfortunately, losing to Akola and then the European bane of existence, Olimar Shutone, because it is impossible for any top European player to beat a top Olimar player because they have no experience in that character. When you don't know what you're doing is horseshit. I would know. I don't know what I'm doing. I've beat Olimar I beat DeBuzz once, ever, and it's not happening again. I also want to highlight one of the most impressive losers runs that didn't end up getting top 8, so no, we're talking about another Japanese player later, but this is going to be JDV, losing to Quinn 2-0 in winners finals of their pool. They ended up going through Rockster 2-0 and then went on a crazy run to make top 24. We have JDV over Spence 3-0, Grape 3-1, Pack Street, the Minmin 3-2, Ouch, the BC's #1 player locally, and then probably #2 player if you think internationally because of Big D, but Ouch has the #1 spot over Big D in their local scene, but 3-1 easy peasy, and 3-0'd Ken, and the way that JDV ended this set was disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, but who does this? This was the least necessary read ever. I would feel terrible getting hit by that, and I would know because I've gotten hit by something similar back in the day with T. Like, that feels so bad. It feels so awful to get hit by something like this. So I 100% understand how Ken feels there, but wow. JDV ended up losing immediately to Shutone, but he took a game which he had never done before, so shoutouts to the PNW, shoutouts to Washington. JDV, very strong player they all need to look out for. It's not just T who plays good Pac-Man. Zamba, after literally not getting top 8 for so long and always being gate kept at like 9th and always having heartbreaking losses, finally made it into the top 8, beating Quick 3-2, Ken 3-1, and MK Leo 3-1, the first time he's ever beat a top Aegis player, because that matchup seems awful. He also then ended up losing to Mia 3-0, and that makes sense because Mia is amazing, but then ended up beating Tweak 3-0 after Tweak beat Light, and after Tweak beat Riddles. So playing a red hot Tweak and said, no problem, and then we don't talk about what happened to him in top 8 versus Shutone. We just don't, it's fine. Going to the other pool, of course, Spargo is a huge story in general, seeing as he won the tournament, but the low-key set that made him win the tournament was he had to play Mutace and won 3-1. Mutace, before this, had a 3-0 set record on Spargo, and this set was literally what made him win the tournament, because after this, his bracket matches were awesome, and it was literally smooth sailing for him. Then beating Armadillo 3-0, Armadillo, again, I will get into him in a little bit, and then beating Meister, and then Akola twice to secure the victory and the #1 spot in the world. Spargo just playing absolutely immaculately. The only game that Spargo lost to Mutace, in fact, was a double Stitch Face game, so I don't even blame him for that. But yeah, Spargo, basically didn't have an issue with this bracket at all, because the one person he should have had an issue with, which was Mutace, he didn't really. I mean, a lot of the games were close. I think 3 of the games were close, including 2 of the ones Spargo won and the one mute one. But either way, won pretty handily. So good stuff to Spargo, absolutely fantastic player. I want to play him again, and I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. But right now I'm delusional, and I'm like, I can beat him, I swear. But he's so good. Like he's incredible. His parry mix-ups, like he just neutralizes every strength of every player, and then lets his own shine all the way through. It is so impressive to watch. Again, I will have an analysis video of his stuff in a couple of days, so don't worry, it will be there. Another story we have to talk about, of course, in the opposite vein of Spargo, is MK So MK wasn't really struggling at the beginning of pools, but then had a really close 3-2 set win against Ouch. Ouch, like, was up by 100% or so game 5, and then ended up getting down air up smashed by Leo, but then immediately afterwards, Leo loses to Zomba, and the last time Leo and Zomba had played, I think, was at Rise and Grind in the same matchup, and Leo made it look awful, like not close, like the Shootone versus Zomba set. I didn't actually watch the set, so I don't know how Zomba won, except for literally how he won at the very end, but I'd be interested to watch this and what happens. And then Leo, of course, made it to top 24, ended up beating SkyJ 3-0 with his Byleth, apparently also played Byleth in the crew battle, but then lost 3-2 in a clincher versus Kamehame. Kamehame, let's pivot to him, had a crazy losers run. The amount of people this guy beat in losers to make top 8 and then continue to top, I think it was 4, is ridiculous. Like, Kamehame, of course, does frequently do well when he comes to the States, but he did lose 3-1 to Mute Ace in Peach versus Sora, so ended up coming down here, ended up having to beat Big D, BC's hopeful. I know Big D and Ouch both got the same place, which to me is kind of crazy, but we had Kamehame 3-0 Big D. The matchup seems awful. Then he beat Luigi, Europe's up-and-coming Luigi player, or I guess not up-and-coming, but like up-and-coming in terms of the national spotlight or international spotlight, because Luigi is amazing. He is ridiculously good. Ended up getting 25th here, losing to Base Mage and Kamehame. No slouch for him. So Kamehame wins that, gets into top 24, where he ends up beating a whole slew of amazing players. You have him 3-0 Onin, that low-key wasn't close, F to my 26R brethren. Then he beat Leo 3-0, beat Gluto 3-0, the last stock of which was fantastic. Like, low-key, this was a super unfortunate ending for Gluto because he misinput something right here. I don't exactly know what I guess he wanted to, like, turn around and bite and ended up getting a bike to the right. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. Maybe he wanted something different. Maybe he just thought bike was there, but ends up dying for that immediately. And then Kamehame says, oh, you gave me a chance, I'm running with it, even though Sora's run speed's kind of slow. Gets hit once, right? 25%. And then he's dead here. He's dead. He actually just took so much damage. He took like 50 there, and then bop, 2-frame at 70 with that amount of rage. Kamehame pops off, solidifying himself into top 8. You see Gluto's like, damn, that really killed. You see Siski in the background, like, look. Again, not to relish in the disappointment of anyone, it sucks, right? So Gluto's like, damn. And then you see Siski be like, what? That killed? That was ridiculous, which, like, it was. He's not wrong. It was ridiculous. Kamehame ends up making top 8, where that doesn't end right there. Like, his run keeps going after beating literally so many amazing players, like one of the best players in the States in Onin, MKLeo, the god, Gluto, the European god, and then ends up coming 3-1ing Yoshidora, even though Yoshidora, I think, had won the last time they played, 3-2ing Mia with the meat brawler pick, you bet your ass I'm going over that set, before I ended up falling to Shootone. Shootone? Speaking of that, oh my god, he had an amazing run. Ended up losing 3-0 to, where is the set? Armadillo, which Armadillo went on quite the run himself, beating Quilly 3-1, Andres FN 3-0, 3-0ing Shootone's Olimar with Lucario, kinda crazy. I need to watch that set. So Shootone falls, and honestly, like that put Armadillo into winners quarterfinals where he got 3-0'd twice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, losing to Armadillo, or losing to Spargo, which obviously, like, it's Spargo's a god, and then losing 3-0 to Yoshidora, so kinda rough. Good 9th place, amazing 9th place, but yeah, those two players are impossible. But so I thought Shootone was going to be impossible, to be fair, but Armadillo did it. So Shootone falls into losers, where then he ends up going on quite the losers run himself. And not only was it quite the losers run, it was dominant, because he beat 3-1 JDV, 3-1 Mute Ace, 3-1 Siski, and then once he made it to top 8, he said, I'm not losing. until I get to Akola. He literally didn't lose. 3-0'd the hell out of Zamba, 3-0'd the hell out of Meister, and 3-0'd the hell out of Kamehame. None of those sets even had close games. Shutone was on fire and ended up losing then 3-1 to Akola, because Akola, of course, the god of Japan, the #2 player in the world, in my opinion, which, by the way, look out for the, whole ranking of, like, the top 10 or 15 players that I'm going to do, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, Akola did amazing. He was very consistent. The Akola Mia set was really good. I think Akola also did really well with his secondaries against Spargo, considering he got 6-1'd with Steve at Kagedimi #10, and he got 6-1'd between Aegis and DK. The DK had close games. The Aegis had really close games. He's got to shore up a couple of defensive habits, because obviously he's not used to playing Aegis against the super top of the top players, because when he's in Japan, he goes Steve, and the only person in the entire world who gives his Steve a hard time, I guess the two people are Mudace and Spargo, so he's not used to doing that. And either way, had some moments of brilliance against Spargo, but Spargo is brilliant all the time, although that's not technically true. Everyone has things that they can improve on, but Spargo just overall outplayed the hell out of him. So Akola getting second, he was obviously very upset with his loss. He feels lost against Spargo, but so does everyone, because Spargo just be shitting on people. He's messing people up. It's crazy. We had the double Game & Watch in top 8 in Mia and Meister. They both had crazy winners runs, honestly. We had Mia 3-1 Lemon, 3-1 Cola, 3-2 Onan. I heard this set was really good, but I did not watch it. And then he 3-0'd Zamba. Then we have Meister, who 3-1'd Nestboy 12. Nestboy 12 also getting one of the hottest upsets against Ferps in pools. That set was amazing. 3-0'ing Mr. E, 3-0'ing his teammate Tweak, literally the only LG member in winners top 24, or just top 8 in general, the only LG player to be there. And then ended up also 3-0'ing whoever he had to play here, which was Gluto. That makes sense. The Meister has like a really heavy set record on him. Both of those players ended up going 0-2 in top 8. But either way, amazing players, amazing character. Game & Watch is silly. I'll probably make a video about Game & Watch specifically and why he is so good, because I think people like realize some of the things, but don't realize quite how ridiculous this character can be. And as someone that has been touting Game & Watch top 10 forever, it wasn't peak bias. This character is just crazy, especially in current meta. I mean, there was literally so much to talk about, right? You have Yaoda's run. Dude, Yaoda Light was such a good set. Riddles, the perennial person who's just been in top 8 all the time for the past like 8 months, got 17th, which is crazy. Onan placed outside of top 8, I think for the second time ever in terms of majors. We had Base Mage almost beat Yoshidora in Puff's like worst matchup. Tarek went on an amazing run. You don't see any Snake players here, both Apollo Kage and Kronos dipping out before top 24. I think Kronos got 25th, losing to Tarek, and then Apollo Kage lost to Goblin. Goblin ended up having to lose to Cola before wherever this set was, and then Mudace, Mudace is really good. Mudace kind of just showing like, hey, I'm only really losing to super top of the top players in Spargo and Shutone, so first and third for 13th, because that is how tournaments like Battle of BC go. This event was insane. The amount of top level play is crazy. Yoshidora beat Dabuz. Dabuz was literally one of the people I expected to have zero issue with Yoshi. I thought if Yoshidora had to play Dabuz, Dabuz is absolutely winning. I hope for Yoshidora's sake that he doesn't run into Dabuz, and then he beat him. He had more trouble with Base Mage, a Jigglypuff, than Dabuz, one of the best players against Yoshi in the world. So Yoshidora's built different, and Yoshi is amazing. Again, there are so many storylines. I loved the top 8 personally. I love watching the silly characters. I like watching Steve. I like watching Spargo. I like watching Game & Watch sometimes. But they were both really entertaining here. Kamehame did great. I loved basically every single set of top 8 that I watched, and again, I will be going over a good bit of it in my analysis. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any specific storylines you want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments. I am going to Combo Breaker this weekend, so expect a wrap-up type thing of that for me. There's also another video coming out about a secret player who did really well this weekend, not shown at Battle of BC. Could it be a Pikachu? Kind of crazy. I'll let you find out. Subscribe to the channel. I'll appreciate it. Check it. Bye.